Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the last event in KCG for 2023. Welcome to the GT Legacy event here at Sonoma. We are already in qualifying, and that was one. And welcome. We have quite a good lineup of drivers, even though it's a bit smaller than it originally was, because we have a few illness factors, let's say. Welcome IPRX, wishing good luck to Ricardo Bello, and also welcome to Colin Blankenburg, who is also good well. I hope. Same goes for Jasper, if you're watching this. For you also, wishing you a speedy recovery from your COVID infection, whatever. And yeah, nice to be back. Been a while again, as always. And as said, it will be the last event for 2023, but the next KCG event is already planned, even though I don't have a set date for it. I will also show to you later on today. But until then, you have to wait a bit, or let's say, not wait, but enjoy this race, because it will be very interesting. I've already had a look at the time in practice, and I had about 9 cars in a second, so it's pretty good, even though of course it's a bit skewed by who drives which fuel loads. But first, let's talk about the track. Sonoma, I think most people know Sonoma, even though many probably haven't driven there, because it's a bit more of a niche track in that regard. And it also featured in quite a lot of games like Need for Speed Pro Street, many different sim races, and so on. However, it's also a very iconic track, I'd say, in many regards, because if you watch NASCAR, it was there, it had a lot of historic races. Of course, ALMS raced there a lot, as well as many other Twin or GT series in America, American GT, basically every national GT series that is there. And we are driving the IRL layout, which has been used in the ALMS days in the 2000s. So we have the infield used, we use the, let's say, long hairpin, which we've just seen Marvin Rottenberg driving through. And we use the sharp hairpin at the end, where one NASCAR driver once got punted onto the tire barriers at the exit. It's actually hilarious. One of the best clips I've seen in any motorsports. And as Colin already says, this track also very interesting on strategy. Long pit lane, so you will lose quite a lot of time. But you can also gain a lot, because the track is very tire demanding. So it's kind of interesting. I'm just trying to look for who it was who crashed onto the... Who was it? Completely forgot. I know who did it. It was Brian Vickers. Ah, okay. I will show you. It's too good not to be shown here. Because it's pure quality. I mean, I think it's Stewart. It should be Stewart. How can... That is very interesting. Let's see. That was the thing that happened before. Yeah, it was Stewart. So that happened before. And there you see it. It's absolutely... We won't see that today. As Racing don't support that. Those physics, as well as that not being really a viable strategy within KCG or in any form of motorsport nowadays, except for NASCAR, of course. But still very interesting trivia about this track, and one of the things that makes the track so interesting. But I think that was it with the track for now. Let's maybe talk about the drivers a bit. We still have 17 minutes, so still a lot of laps to get in. People just setting their first valid lap times, but already we see close gaps between the 4 and 2. This is Marvin Mattenberg in the MP412C. It's the ADAC one. And very curious to see how it performs. We have a slightly altered BOP from Brands Hatch last time around, which worked pretty well. So I'm hoping it will work this time as well. So yeah, the MP412C is a very balanced car, I'd say. It doesn't is not hugely strengthening in one category like the Camaro is, or some of the other powerhouses or grip beasts. It's very balanced, so it's good around everywhere, which is very useful on this track, of course. Especially if you have Robert Wiesenmüller behind. He drives the Porsche. He's the only Porsche on the grid. Which might also be the fact that the Porsches that we have available are kind of hard to obtain. But he is in the Manthey Porsche. And... oh, that bit of a dodgy pit exit from Riccardo Rivello. But, yeah, Porsche. Then we have one of our Bentleys, driven by Oliver Berndt. He was in the Civic TCR last time around in Motegi. And this time he's back in the Bentley GT3. We'll be curious to see how he performs. He's a great driver. I know him. I've spent a lot of time with him. And yeah, there you can also see kind of unusual pit entry. I really like it, to be honest. It's like you can absolutely just nail it, what the fuck, into the pits. But yeah, Oliver Berndt. Then we have Gaspar Misch. I will probably talk some slack about him. That's because I like him. He's a very funny guy. Well known at this point, I think, for everyone in KCG. Currently in 4th, now 5th, because Sven Mattenberg in the second Bentley, or first Bentley, depending on how you see it, just did a 1:30.447 and puts himself into 3rd. One of the Blancpain Bentleys. Then we have the first of the 650S. So you have 2 different Maccas in this race. Well, you have 4 Maccas, but 2 different ones. Yeah, 650S, which is kind of harshly BOP'd because it's like very strong, but seems to work quite well. Overall, we had Jiří Kartoffel, who also is back in the same 650S as he had driven in Brands Hatch. He showed that with this car you definitely have quite some potential, and I'm sure both of them are great drivers. and can make the most out of this car at this track as well. Then we have Luca D'Amico, who had a very strong DPI race, which he actually won, if my memory serves me right. Yeah, he won in the DPI class in front of Gaspar Misch. Drove a very, very solid race. I mean, you don't have to say much about Luca if you follow any of Raceroom's official competitions. He's a very strong driver. In the Z4, there are 2 Z4s on the grid, I think. So, he's currently holding up the flag for BMW. Just in front of him now is another 650S, Sebastiano Rossi, just joined as well. So, he also returning name. He's also streaming his POV. So if you want to watch from his onboard, I will just post the link in the chat. Might be very interesting. I mean, more angles are always better if you ask me. So make sure to give him a follow. And then in 9th we have one of my favorite cars, to be honest. The P45 has been driven last time by Sven Mackenberg. This time driven by Birger Meisman, who I actually teamed up with a lot in the last few weeks because we always were on the same split for the ranked championship races, and we kind of teamed our way through most of the MX5 races. It was a lot of fun. But good to see him also in this race again. Also with the a more unusual car. But very cool indeed. I mean, it's got a Ferrari-derived engine, which is cool. And in terms of looks, you don't really have to like it. I mean, I don't think it looks bad, but I can see why people sometimes don't really like it. But I mean, it's special. It's kind of a one-off, so it's always nice to see. So from one special car to the next one, Thorsten Leber is back again, and welcome Marvin in the chat, welcome Jasper in the chat. Get well, Jasper, hope you're doing well as well. I mean, you're not the only one not driving because of COVID, so and welcome Captain Coffee. Huge thanks to Captain Coffee as always. Couldn't do this without him. He's hosting our servers, setting up everything. It's a huge help and very much appreciated. So maybe post a bit of love in the chat for Captain Coffee. But yeah, talking about Thorsten Leber and the Ford GT. Ford GT, one of my all-time favorite GT cars. I mean, for me, it's absolutely gorgeous. The sound, the optics. It's just sexy. Don't know how to express it otherwise. So good to see it here as well. I think we had one at Brands Hatch as well. Sebastiano Rossi drove the Red Bull one, if I'm correct. I think Jasper will remember that. He had kind of a few contact with him at times, but it was great to watch though. And then we have the last of the people currently with a lap time, which is Timo Reiter in the Mercedes. Actually just bought the track today, so very interesting. Back in the Rover Mercedes, same as last time. So this time he has a bit more luck. Last time he was a bit unlucky in Brands Hatch. I think he got disconnected, the internet disconnect while driving quite a solid race. So this time he can just cruise through without major issues. In the Mercedes also heavily BOP'd, but as you can see with Gaspar Misch, he's pretty much in the fight as well. So sure both of them can still improve quite a bit. Then Christian Bertani, nice to see him back as well. He was back for Asia 100, but also returned for this race. Nice drift there. And also on the 650S, so very popular choice as it seems, but I mean, can also imagine many people having the 650S, seeing as it was in the starter pack back in the days. Bit too much throttle through the long left hairpin. So interesting to see what he can do. And we have Colin Blankenburg on the server actually. He's our Corvette driver. Corvette, as well as all the other old cars, which are pretty decent nowadays anyway. Heavily bopped, but from the lap times he did in practice, seems to be not too biased by them. Of course, being ill is not preferable when you drive, but let's hope he can make it work. But great to see him here. And for now, last but not least, we have the second of the BMWs. Dave Siska has been with us for quite a few races now, and actually nice to see him every time. And curious to see what he can do. He's not set a valid lap time as of now. He's currently also not on one, as it seems. And Gaspar being able to take everyone, why is that? Why can Gaspar take everyone in the Discord? That's very interesting. Something I gotta fix, I think. I mean, I don't think anyone will do bad with it, but yeah, still. Mention at everyone. Save changes. Shouldn't be able to do that now. Oh wait, every roll. Why are certain rows bit weird. However, qualifying is still going on for 6.5 minutes. So we'll focus on the lap times in just a bit. So I need to fix quite some stuff at some point. Let us see. A bit interesting. However, we currently have up top still Marvin Muckmack with his sub 30. That is a very strong lap time. 1:29.9 in the MP4. Then we have Robert Wiesenmüller in the Porsche and Colin Blankenburg still putting it P3 right out of the gate. That is an entry, let's say. So props to him for that. Maybe he can still actually improve. We can go on board with him. In front of him there we have Ricardo Well, currently in 6th, only 6/10 away as well. So of course you might say, okay, it's a few tenths between some of them, but on the other hand we have a 15-car grid and 9 of them are within 1 second, which to me sounds pretty good. Then we have Sven Mackenberg 4 tenths away from his brother right now. And then we have kind of a very close group with Oliver and Riccardo Bello and Sepp Rossi. And also Luca D'Amico being very close behind. Then small gap to Gaspar Milch, Birger Meisman, 1.8 seconds right now. Of course, also different levels of training and stuff. I think sometimes we'll still improve over the next few laps. That's how it usually goes, because the learning curve is very fast during qualifying for some of the drivers. Meanwhile, I am disabling all the add everyone permissions. Just taking a long time. Probably you can do it faster, but I don't know how. And Birger Meisman just confirming what I said with no training. Suzuka will also be very interesting. Sonoma will be very interesting in terms of how the race develops, and as Colin already said previously in the chat, with strategy, because it's not that easy to overtake here. It's very possible to race, so it's not a circuit where it's very hard to race in itself, but actually getting the overtake done is difficult because you can always come back. You always have an option to counteract, to fight back. If you take, for example, the flowing S-bends near the end of the track, and that's Robert Wiesenmüller going off there. So we now enter with Sepp Rossi the hairpin, which is a very good overtaking opportunity, but if you do it right, you can try to cut back or hang around the outside. And then you have this left, right, left, and at some point, of course, one has to bail out. But it's hard to do. It's very hard to do at some point. And that's why I think we're gonna see people trying to get as much offset as possible. There is no mandatory pit stop, but of course you have to pit to make the duration of the race. And also with the Conrad just saying he can't race for that long, which is understandable. I mean, you can just drive, and if it gets worse, you just stop. So you are not obliged to finish the race, you know. You can just try, have some fun. That's totally cool with me. And quality is basically over. We only have one car running, which is Christian Bertani. Not sure if he can finish the lap though. Seems to be very long. And there we have provisional standings. So Colin Blankenburg left for the good measure. As said, totally fine. So we have Marvin Mankenberg on pole. He will lead the race. He's used to the manual in-lap procedure we have. Then it's Robert Wiesenmüller alongside him, Sven Mackenberg in P3, Oliver Berndt P4, so you have a German 1, 2, 3, 4. Riccardo Rebello being in 5th, Sebastian Rossi and Luca D'Amico in 6th and 7th, and then Gaspar Misch in 8th. Then we have our two Czech drivers in 9th and 10th. And yeah, goes on after that. Gaspar naming a German race from XP. Oh, German. What do you say? German room racing experience. Also a very, very good name. So now we have 5 minutes of warm-up. What's cool about Sonoma is that you at many parts of the track can just see other parts of the track. I mean, you obviously don't look at it while driving. It would be a bit stupid to rather look at a car in distance instead of focusing on your apexes. But for watching the race or observing it, it's kind of cool to see like there goes another car in the distance, especially if you have that car fighting for position with a pit stop offset. I will just leave it running for a minute and be right back, because I need some water to make it through the 2 hours. For me it's also a long stint, as I'm again just alone. However, will be very curious to see. We have a 123 minutes race, the 3 minutes being for the in-lap, which could be very crucial as well. So now it's for the drivers to just get ready for the race. And for me, as said, to get water. Always pressing the wrong buttons. However, I'm back now, and immediately the viewership drops by 2 people. As expected. I think what might also be very interesting is now that we have more different cars in one way, how they will develop through the race in terms of pace. This track is very different in terms of tire usage compared to Brands Hatch. There's more load overall going through the tires, especially through these fast S-bands we have here. And we have Dave's car going reverse through the pit lane. And yeah, indeed, we have no Ultra, because the only Ultra we would have had has an ill driver. We're also missing quite a few other people, unfortunately. Yuval Rosen couldn't join today. Even Lukac would have been again in the Nissan GTR, which would have been nice to be there. Unfortunately, can't join. I mean, the GTR is also a very special car in its own regard. We have Paul Olawu, who had to cancel his registration, or at least couldn't take part due to private reasons. So I have few drivers unfortunately missing, but definitely understandable. I think Christian Goethe is still also not able to race, if I recall that right. Would be nice to see him back again at some point. But yeah, we still have 14 very cool drivers and I'm sure we can make this a very great event. As we now finish warm-up and Jasper asking for an R8 Ultra event and Colin immediately responding he doesn't like driving the ID Ultra. So yeah, decide for yourself. But yeah, it's very unlikely that after a GT Legacy event we will have the R8 Ultra Cup. So but one part of R8 Ultra Cup, one word of this might not be wrong for the next one. Even though that doesn't say anything basically. But you will see, you will see. Meanwhile, now we are on the grid. Of course, we are not taking the start. It's a very long red light though. And that's now the in-lap. I'm not doing the same mistake I did in GT3 once, where I forgot there was an in-lap and just went like, and we go green and nobody moved. And shots fired between my two COVID boys. But yeah. Also, if you want to get involved with all this, with this league, you can join by scanning this QR code here or clicking the link in the description. Or just being on the Race Room Discord, I guess. However, next event will not be this year, will be next, even though it's not that much more time to next year anyway, but you get the thing. See, I could, no, that's wrong. This one. I probably forget to turn it off again, but whatever. It's sometimes hard to remember. If you see the 5 lights, you almost always just immediately go like, okay, race mode. We should see them going into formation now, which they do. Full Bentley row too, actually. Now through the hairpin, which is very, very tight. It's now 60 kph speed limit for Marvin Mackenberg. And he now can decide when to go green. He's still waiting. Everyone's on the start-finish line. And he goes now. Good start from Robert Wiesenmüller, very good reaction time. It's Sven Mackenberg who can stay in front of his Bentley colleague in Oliver Berndt. And so far, so good. Marvin Mackenberg taking a bit wider line. We have a 3 wide there. Oh, and Dave Siska getting the slightest of touch from Luca D'Amico. But it seems like everyone has gone through. With the two 650S fighting into the infield now. Oh, and slightest of touch between Rebello and Kartoffel. Drops both down the order. However, it's a long race, bit of contact there. Oh, and also, and it's Gaspar Misch losing the tail. I think it was a bump in the road. It didn't look like there was contact between him and one of the two cars in front. It's Oliver Berndt and Sebastian Rossi who are still fighting. That's what I meant previously. You can just fight back. And now Oliver Berndt has to somewhat get the edge over Sebastian Rossi, but he made it through on the right-hander. But it's the top 3 running away now. Marvin Mackenberg, Robert Wiesenmüller and Sven Mackenberg. And Jiri Kartoffel and Christian Bertani's car. Kartoffel's car seems to be alright. So let's look at the first lap. Who gained, who lost? It's the top 4 as they were on the start. Then we have Sebastiano Rossi making up 1 position and Luca De Micu also making up 1 position. Dave Siska, even though he went off the track for a moment there on the opening stage, actually made up 3 positions in all of that. Oh, and Christian Bertani, too much damage, is in the pits. So he hasn't retired, just is in the pits. And Timo Reiter, as well as Thorsten Leber, with great starts to their races, both gained 4 position. And my English is shutting down after time. However, both made up 4 positions in all of that. And then we have Riccardo Rebello losing 5 positions. It was a situation with Jiri Kartoffel, which of course we will look at after the race. Birger Meisman overall stayed in his position, and Gaspar Misch with his spin lost 4 positions, as well as Jiri Kartoffel also losing 4 positions. Christian Bertani is back on track, so he's continued to drive. And up front it's Sven Mattenberg applying pressure on Robert Wiesenwell, who can't quite go the pace of Marvin Mattenberg. As well as Riccardo Rebello now diving down the inside of Thorsten Leber. It said that Jiri Kartoffel has 100% damage. He has a lot of damage, not sure what happened. Just says it wasn't a collision, went on track, so it seems like it was on his own. Timo Reiter going a bit wide there. Should be good. And due to the fight between Robert Wiesenmüller and Sven Mattenberg, it's Oliver Berndt getting closer, as well as Sebastiano Rossi. The slow McLaren there was Christian Bertani, who's letting everyone through. And it's only the first 4 minutes of the race. But we have quite the train forming here behind the Porsche. Jiri Kartoffel also on the pits with that amount of damage surely makes sense. But Marvin Mattenberg has lost a lot of time. It wasn't off track or anything. But suddenly Robert Wiesenmüller is right up his diffuser again. And also the 2 Bentleys getting into a very close fight now. So Oliver Berndt putting on the pressure to Sven Mattenberg. It seems like for now everything is settled a bit, which is faster than on other races in KCG, let's say it like that. But I think the top 6 are all in good contention here for this race. And also we have 3 different cars in the top 3. And actually 4 different cars, or 5 different cars in the top 6. But Oliver Berndt really getting closer and closer within 2/10 Pierre and Sven Mattenberg. And Robert Wiesenmüller didn't actually go into the pits, it's just this line through the hairpin. Goes from very far off the left, which is allowed. You are allowed to cross the pit entry line, so it's no issue. I think it's also series dependent if you are allowed or not. Sven going bit wide, but Oliver can't really make use of that. Of course, both in the same car. They also know the weakness and strength. They also know each other quite a bit, I think. At the very least they do from benchmark testing, even though racing is a bit of a different story. And I completely agree with Colin. It will be very interesting to see if Robert Wiesenmüller can launch an attack on Marvin Martenberg, and if he will do, or if he will just wait for later in the race or play a strategy card. I mean, this is the guy who got P2 at Nürburgring in the DTM competition. So, okay, he won a lot more in his career than that. And further back we have Gazpromish now going for a move on Bigger Meisman. Down the inside, braking later. Bigger Meisman not really fighting this one. Also Riccardo Rebello getting past Dave Siska. But still, he still is 2 positions up from the starting position. In front of Riccardo Rebello, that's Christian Bertani. Hey Christian. Only OP cars, I don't know. But nice to see you in chat. It's pretty hard to be OP though, so okay. I'm not sure how strong the camera is actually. I mean, Marco Chadron, unfortunately, isn't here today. He did a very good race in the Camaro at Brands Hatch. But I'm not sure how good it is actually. No, Colin was in the Corvette and we have a spin. Was Toss and Bigger Meisman. Was there contact between the 2 of them? Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, I thought about it with only American cars. But on the other hand, I don't know why you should restrict it that much further. So far I'm pretty happy with the selection of cars, to be honest. Luca D'Amico getting closer to Sebastian Rossi. It's a bit more forming of duels right now. Timo Reiter and Dave Siska fighting it out for P9. Siska just got past Timo Reiter. Ah, SCB. Sorry, D'Amico having a look down the inside. Can't quite do a move here. Seems like Oliver Band has pretty much settled for his position right now. Which might also be a good thing to do. Maybe if you're in the same car and can't pass on pace, just try to pass on strategy. Well, just try is easier said than done against a Sven Mackenberg, who's probably one of the most experienced in all of Race Room at this point. I mean, the Mackenbergs, I think they've seen everything in this game. The same goes for Robert Wiesenmüller. There's no competition they haven't raced. There's no car they haven't raced, it feels like. So they know their cars. Currently Martin Mackenberg also lapping 4/10 faster than Robert Wiesenmüller. It's always the fast S-Bends that Luca D'Amico is closing in on Zabrossi. But then the MP4 is just... Oh, and Christian Bartani lost control and now DNF from the race. But also Dave Siska went off in a very fast section. Let's hope his car's not too damaged. Seems like everything is good with the car. Can't really see much from that angle. So unfortunately there's our first DNF. So I'm currently having a look at lap times. Riccardo Rebello is pretty much on pace with the cars up front. I mean, he's in P7, but he is on some cars slowly closing in. Might also be he is in free air right now. He can just drive. Probably also preserving tires a bit, I could imagine, and fuel. Oh, and Luca D'Amico closer than ever, but still not close enough. See what lap times Gaspar can do. This lap time was a 1:32.1. It's a bit slower than the cars in front. Then we have Timo Reiter and Thorsten Leber fighting out. Jiri Kartoffel spun out. I think that is the fast S-Benz. Yeah, it is. So he is not having the easiest time with the car. But if I've seen it right, he's also on controller, which makes it all the more remarkable what he did in the other races. Yeah, very good. Oh, and it's Sebastian Rossi and Luca D'Amico fighting it out. Completely missed that moment. And for now, he's through. Oh, and Birger Meissman also spun out in the downhill section. But can Sebastian Rossi fight back is the question. Luca goes a bit wide. Oh, and locks the rears. Sebastian Rossi goes through on the inside. A little bit of touch. Space given, though. Now through the fast left-hander. Advantage to Luca D'Amico. Can he hold it? Seems like he can. But now comes the part where the McLaren might be a bit stronger. Meanwhile, Timo Reiter and Thorsten Leber also having a battle. Seb having a look down the inside, going much tighter through the turns. Can he get the better exit? It's pretty similar. You can also see how different the lines are between the cars. Sebastiano Rossi usually driving the much tighter line. Thorsten Leber meanwhile passed Timo Reiter. That is now up into 9th. But Timo is coming back a bit here and there. Not sure about the damage he has. I think that was because of a lag. Because the car is driving as it should. And knowing his internet might well be from internet. Up front, meanwhile, gap has been pretty consistent between Marvin Markenberg and Robert Wiesenmüller. It's around 1.622 seconds all the time. Also, Sven Markenberg and Oliver Berndt got further apart from each other. Could well be also with the contact with Siska. But it's hard to tell. Because if it was from a normal contact, my dashboard usually doesn't show me 100% damage. Meanwhile, your Kartoffel is still in the pits. You can also see how much Rob is sliding through the turns. Also, I think I haven't said it yet, in terms of VIP prizes, we have the top 8 who get VIP, plus 3 random draws from the other finishes. So as long as you finish in the top 8, or finish the race below that, you're pretty much guaranteed VIPs at this point. P1 gets 1100 VIP, and then 2 to 5, 500. Versus all 250 VIP codes. Well, Dave Siska closing in on Timo Reiter again. Oh, and Timo Reiter going wide there, coming back on track. Allows Dave Siska to get through. Bit lucky there maybe, but position is position. Now back on where he started. And Robert Wiesenmüller now very close to Markenberg again. Good choice of car for onboard. Guess you mean the 991, which definitely I would agree with. Also sounds beautiful to me. See some mirrors. Oh, and see a Kartoffel off again. Can see how much more aggressive Rob is into the braking zone. Last turn is also where he gains the most time every lap on Marvin Muckenberg. But the lap times are almost identical, it's a few thousands between them. Sometimes in favor of Hobbs, sometimes in favor of Marvin. Yeah, probably. But Yuri said he will soon have new wheel and pedals. Curious to see how he can perform them. But he's really struggling. I mean, Sonoma's already tricky with the wheel. I don't want to know how tricky it is with the controller. You were asking for Colin Blankenburg. Six-tenth the gap now. So it seems like either Muckenberg is now it is doing a bit more easy to save some fuel for strategy or tires, or the Porsche is actually coming to life more, or Marvin just wants to put on a show for us. One of those three things. Oh, and we have something in the back. Not sure what. Siska being stationary. It's in the long left-hander. Might well be that he lost it himself. I don't have any notification of him even losing it. Although signature Muckenberg rage quit spot by Colin. And now the fight really is on. Oh, big slide there for Rob. Lost him a bit of time, but ultimately was okay. Could have ended worse. Times are also dropping quite significantly. All of the top guys, except for Bernd, are now in the 31.7 to 8. Bernd is still in the 31.5. Oh, and Timo Reiter. Big spin apparently in the upper section. Lost him 2 positions. So there's no bigger damage to his car. I also predicted it in some way, but on the other hand, I don't think he will. But it would be hilarious, not gonna lie. But if if those two start fighting, that will be huge for the two Bentley drivers behind. because they are all on pace, can all get close. And when going side by side through the Asus, for example, like Rossi and Miku did, or who else? Rossi and Bernd. Rossi had many side by sides, okay. You lose a significant amount of time. I'm sure both of them know it, and they will avoid that. Don't think any one of them will want to let the other drivers catch up. But sometimes you can't avoid that when fighting like that. There is info about love's lap times, but I can't show them. That's a bit, like since they updated this R3 realities thing, like the overlay I'm using, I have so many less options. Of course there are cool ones like this QR code thing, This is cool, or if you have formula races and stuff, like the tire choice, which in this case of course always is hard. The safety car stuff and all, like there's a lot of cool stuff, but I don't have an option to show last lap times or compare lap times. I think that also wasn't the old option version, but in the old version I at least had many overlays to choose from, and in general a lot more things I could do. Still waiting for the official race room overlay, which Coffee uses for the main streams, to get public at some point. That would be huge. Especially for multi-class races, of course. And now we have 2 tenths between them. And it's bumper to bumper, basically. Robert Wiesenmüller last lap time is 30.9, Marvin Mankmark is 31.1. So they are back on pace. They are pushing now. Oh, Marvin a bit wide and Robert Wiesenmüller now down to inside. Space given. Marvin Mankmark a bit wide again, and that now means Robert Wiesenmüller is in the lead of the Sonoma GT Legacy event. Whatever, I wanted to scream Grand Prix, but it's not a Grand Prix. Now's the question, can he pull away from Marvin Mankmark? Can Marvin Mankmark get his position back? Both cars have very different strengths. We have a yellow further behind. That's Thorsten Leber in the Ford GT. I think after turn 5. No, after turn 4. But it seems like right now Robert is a bit faster, but the McLaren is stronger in Sector 1. And now enter yellow, which is for Yiri Katarol. Oh, and very sketchy situation there. I think Yiri has spun out there and couldn't really go anywhere, to be honest. And that now opened the gap for Robert Wiesenmüller to build a bit of a gap. But I also agree with Colin. Marvin is probably saving tires. but the way they were pushing the last 2 laps. I think Bob is definitely going much more aggressive, so maybe he's just chilled for the start of the race to get on target and now is using the advantage he had. While Mac of course tried to run away at the start. Especially after the start here, which was quite good. But in all of this, Sven Nottenberg closed in 2 to 3 seconds, I think. At a further loading grid, it's constantly changing with positions. Birger Meismann now in P10. And Thorsten Leber up in P9. He started P13. And he also had his spin, so... Also completed 25% of the race. So that's not really close to the pit stops, and it's Timo Walter in front of Robert Wiesenmüller there. Moves out of the way for a blue flag. We have 3 white and yellow cars right behind each other. That's interesting. Also 3 cars which couldn't be any more different. Except for all being rear-wheel drive due to the regulations, of course. But front engine, mid engine, rear engine. It's always nice to come back to those old cars, I think. Like, of course, modern GT3s have many... Oh, and I think that's... No, that's just the yellow. So, no problem. That would actually be a good idea, but now I can't do it because you already said that. However, it's always nice to come back to those old GT3s. Just something special about them. Of course, modern GT3s are nice and all, and they provide arguably better racing. And of course, in the sim racing world, they are also up to date. Those cars are on old physics. Partly, some aren't, some are. But there's just, I don't know, something magical about seeing them, reliving them in some way or another. Not only to watch, but of course also to drive. They are much rougher. They are more... Yeah, they are not faster in terms of on lap time, but mostly they are on straights, and it's just more of a powerhouse. And it's in general just a raw experience, which is very nice. Of course, you then also have the sound. I mean, modern GT3s don't sound bad. not necessarily, but yeah. I also wondered that if the GT3s, the old ones, will also get the new tire physics. As far as I understood it at the expo, because I talked to JF and Thomas for a while there, that it should come to all cars in the class. So I mean, the announcement also says this update will also introduce a new tire model to all cars in racing. So I'd expect it to be really on all cars. What I'm curious about, I mean, they have the 296 coming as an extra vehicle later on. What about the R8 LMS Evo? Because we don't have that so far. Or am I mistaken? So, curious to see. It's a new model in race room. ABS and braking trainers probably, but like on the Expert didn't feel like, when I tried it on the Expert didn't feel way different. It felt much better. Of course I can't directly compare it because I have a G29 and shitty setup and stuff. But in general it felt much better because you could feel more what's going on with the car, and it wasn't like an on and off switch. So I'm thinking that it can only improve. You also have Santa Roba in chat, who is rooting for Luca D'Amico and Sebastian Rossi, which isn't looking too bad. I mean, P5, P6. Very solid at the moment. And also still not far away from the lead, so whatever happens during the race. Also got a few track limit abuses going on. Thorsten Leber, the first one to be in the pits regularly. So probably going for 3 40-minute stints, as it seems. Now in the air, changing tires. I think what I miss most about the old layout, about the old dashboard, are just track maps. But Rebello is catching up to Rossi, so it's not said and done yet. Looks like Thorsten Leber is also coming out in clean air. Can now accelerate. And up front it's pretty much the other way around to the start of the race. Gap is staying fairly consistent. As they now close in on Dave Ciscar. Bit unfortunate to see so many people not being able to race today. So like 4 or 5 people. Because I think it's a bit empty on track in that regard. It's a long track and stuff. Now imagine having a Colin in the fight for the lead, Yuval as well. I think Paul Olo could have been right there with Sven Mackenberg and Oliver Berndt as well. So, a bit unfortunate. But maybe next time we will have a more healthy grid. There's this guy leaving space for Rob to get through. Engagement Mish also in the pits. No changing tires. Should be enough for the top 2, top 3 to get through. Indeed, that's also a thing. So like, we will get 2 new GT3s, which is quite a lot. That's now driving again. And we have one other guy entering the pits. It's Timo Reiter. I'm actually surprised to see the 296. Other way around would have been much funnier. 296 in the game that early, and for racing that's pretty fast, especially thinking about how late we got the 458. 488. 458 would be great to have. Would be absolutely awesome. I love that car. However, it's also the Evo 2 now finally. I mean, I said I hope they will also deliver more of the 24-hour Nürburgring and stuff liveries. I want that Phoenix livery. But great to have it at all for now. Still curious where that touring car pack disappeared to. I think that's Rio Kartoffel, Weiß. And Luca De Mico now in the pits. Oh, that was a big moment for Ricardo Kartoffel. Not sure if... rolled back onto the track. Not the safest rejoin. Obviously very unfortunate for Owen. Losing the rear, exiting the left-hander. Just went. Yeah, one about. Let's look at the front again. Now Seb Rossi in the pits. Kademiuk now under threat of being lapped. That would not be good for him. That will gonna be interesting. When will Rossi drive again? So he will have quite the gap to D'Amico. He's now rolling again. Where's Dave Siska? He's now coming through the final turn. He will get in front. For Gosh Permission, it won't be enough. So on paper now, Rossi should be 8th. 7th. Because we will also has to pit. And we are approaching the halfway mark, so soon we will see more pit stops, and also the pit stops of these two guys, Robert Wiesenmüller and Marvin Nutmeg. I think the Bentleys will be able to go further, so they might gain time in the pits. And that's Bürgermeister and Luca D'Amico, not really fighting for position, as Bilger still has to pit, but fight on track. Oh, and big moment there for Rossi, just lost the rear end. It's a very hard, I think it's probably the hardest turn to accelerate out of, because the track is falling away that much. And also a bit of off camber, so easy to do. Probably it's the best for Bürger to come in now if he can make a 70-minute stint. But I'm not sure about the P45, if it can do that. Yeah, it's. I think he's a driver for understeer cars. The 650S can be quite chill, especially with that much ballast added. I mean, it's getting a bit more sluggish. Drives well for me because I'm like that bit of oversteer can cope with quite well usually. I think I'm usually losing it under braking, to be honest. Oh, and Timo Reiter, big hit. And you can see by the skid marks, he just clipped the dirt on the right hand side. Oh, and that looks like a lot of engine damage. A lot of suspension damage. Curious to see if he... I mean, I'm surprised if he doesn't have engine damage. But you can see how much the car is grabbing. That thing is not good to drive right now. Marvin Longback is really pumping in fast lap times right now. The only one with a lap time as fast as him currently is Krystall, with a few hundredths slower, down in 10th. You know, Sebastiano Rossi very close to Dave Siska now. Of course, they are on different pit cycles. What's actually interesting is that every time that Robert Wiesenmüller goes through the pit entry, he gets an off-track. Just as a fun fact. So he does it to an extent that actually gives him an off-track. But this now is for position. We got Meisman now in the pits. Having a look down the inside, this guy has to open up to avoid a collision. Aggressive, bold, but worked. And let's see. Profiting of this, of course, Gaspar Misch, because he's gained about a second to the two cars in front because of this. So again, I'm a few tenths faster than Rob. 2.5 to be exact. Meanwhile, Luca D'Amico also on that pace with the 31.6. But of course he's on way fresher tires. See. We are now getting closer and closer to the round. Now, remember we had the in-lap. So you have a bit less fuel for the first and then for the second, in theory. So it won't be exactly the halfway mark, possibly. Marvin Magmag now again within a second. And something... Oh, Dave Siska off in turn 1. It looked also very sketchy. Now Gashpamish through. Oh, and a lot of damage to that front. And you can see it's barely drivable in a straight line. Ah, that's unfortunate for me. It's such a good race up to that point. Doesn't necessarily have to mean much at this point. Oh no, don't hit that tire. But doesn't help in the progression of the race, let's say. Let's hope he can make it back to the pits and get some repairs. But now look at this, 4/10. So it's pretty much reversed from half an hour ago, where Rob took the lead off Marvin Mackenberg. Yeah, indeed. Wouldn't surprise me if they do now, but I think both of them are just going to go as long as their fuel tank allows. So, I mean, it only makes sense, of course, but... And Rob actually goes. He goes for it. Rob shot first into the pits. Now he just has to hope he doesn't come out in traffic. Also, the timer is broken as per usual. Yeah, I don't have 2 minutes left in the race. It's a bit more. So let's see where will he come out. I suspect he will come out in clean air behind Riccardo Rebello. Oh, losing the end there. Oliver Bent also in the pits actually. So he's going to try to undercut Sven Mattenberg. And Rob should be going now any moment. Now car turns back on. Should come out well in front of Luca and have a clean road. Even though Birger is also in between that. But Wiesenmüller's already on the go and has clean air, and that is crucial for him. Marvin Mackenberg stays out longer. So let's see now, when does Marvin Mackenberg come into pit? Just 1 second. And Sven is actually in the pits in the meantime. So that will be interesting if I were banned. Catarobello also in the pits. That means Robert Wiesenmüller will be back in P2. But when will Marvin Nockenberg pit? He's still not pitting. And also Luca De Amico now. I don't think he can make it through on this tank. But he's now into P4. Yeah, it seems to be the default. Oh, and Timo Reiter lost control. Yeah, just letting you through. So Ricardo will come out. He's now driving again. That will be P8 for him. Luca De Amico, not sure when he pitted. I think it was early. It was 40 minutes into the race, something. It wasn't, no, 40 minutes that was Thorsten Leber, so he was a bit later. The Z4 isn't bad on fuel, but 1 hour 10 is hard. So I don't think, also his pace could drop off a bit. But I'm very curious to see where his race will be going. Because when he pit, we will surely lose out to Bernd and Rossi again. But now, Marvin Magnac into the pits. And that's also true. Oh, Timo Reiter DNF, that I didn't even notice. Maybe too much damage. But that's unfortunate for him. Sure, it wasn't an easy race, but... Sonoma is very tricky, that's the thing. So Robert Wiesenmüller now through the final turn. Marvin's still stationary. Can he get the jump on Marvin Magnac again? There he comes out of the pits, and he does. So now it's back to 1v1. With the interesting thing being, Robert Wiesenmüller, of course, is leading. And the margin is pretty much the same as before, but Marvin Magnac has the better tires. They will have the same fuel load roundabout. But Marvin Magnac on fresher tires. Way fresher tires. He pitted like 6 or 7 laps later. That will be very interesting. But you also have to get past. That's the... And we've seen with Robert Wiesenmüller how long and how many attempts he needed to get past Martin. Not to forget, in slipstream, especially in those old cars, you understeer, you use front tires a lot more. Could be the great equalizer. But yeah, if they don't crash, that's also another thing. Even though I'm less concerned about that. But they both are going to give it everything, and also, of course, we have a bit of traffic, just in Lever. I mean, he will not block them. It's one of the fastest drivers I know. Swap. That Ford GT just sounds gorgeous. There goes Marvin. I think Marvin was a bit confused for a short moment. Oh, and Sven Max spun out of turn 1. Now Luca D'Amico into third. Has enough of a cushion to Oliver Berndt to not lose this position, but that's not what he needs right now. But that makes the race for Luca D'Amico all the more interesting. Also, Oliver Berndt is lapping at 30.9. That's as fast as the leaders. So he's also making huge progress if he can continue with the pace. The overall fastest lap is held by Sven with the 30.7. Can I see when it was set? Because last lap wasn't as good. Sven, there we have it. No, I don't think I can. Can't find it at least. But now Robert Wiesenmüller and Marvin Mackenberg. Robert drove a 31.078. Marvin drove a 31.099. And Thorsten Leber and Riccardo Bello having a bit of a fight. Bello also went off track. Oh, is there damage to his car? Oh yeah, there is. On the rear axle, I think. Yep. Rear left. That's unfortunate for him. Made a good recovery drive up until that point. But of course it's also still 48 minutes, so everything that happened to some drivers wait, is only his left side up? I need to see that. I've never Since when do they only jack up the left hand side of the car? I never have seen that. I'm actually stunned. Meanwhile, you can see Dave Siska passing for P10, that is. And also, Timo reported back to me what happened. With 200 kph into wall, yeah, didn't really work, let's say. But the gap is slowly closing in on the front. Also, Sven Markenberg is only a second behind Luca D'Amico now. Of course, Luca D'Amico on much older tires. Yeah, sure. But I've also never... I think it's pretty rare to only have damage on one side of the suspension, isn't it? But if that's already in the game, why not change only left side? Just kidding. I mean, it would be awesome, but you don't really need it apart from the Great American Oval Race. But even there you change all tires. Or only on one axle driven wheels. One of the smallest cars in class and one of the biggest cars in class. And Luca D'Amico not really defending there. Knowing that you can't really defend against a car like this, with a driver like this, and tires like this. Oh wait, what just happened? Sebastiano Rossi having internet issues, it seems like. So, only changing one tire would be this. That's great. Okay, so Sebastiano Rossi car is totaled on my screen, but it won't be on his. It will probably just have been internet. Would be nice, nice rule. Change 3 tires. Is not much slower than Sven. He's not losing that much time per lap. Also Marvin Mackenbeck has lost quite some time to Wiesenmüller again. Yeah, Sven is really rapid, posting 31.1s, pretty much on par with the two in front. Look at all those dead flies on the screen. Oh, was just Rob kicking up some dirt? Gashpamish in the pits. So he's opening up the second pit cycle. Can't speak. Pit cycle. I think he will drop down to 9. But he should have the pace advantage to Bigger Meisman. No, he just refuels. It makes it more interesting. Not sure if he will have the pace. He's faster than Bilger on itself on this combo. Mainly because Bilger didn't really have practice, but tire wear should be better on Bilger's car than on Gershpa's, because he pitted quite a considerable amount earlier. So let's see how this will develop. We still have 40 minutes. And 1.2 seconds splitting the top 2. And Luca De Micono on the pits. That's kind of what I thought. He will probably fall down to 6th behind Rossi. Oh, and Mount Magmac now 18th. I think now it will start to be interesting. Shell gap is fluctuating a lot still. Oh, and it's Luca De Mico coming out of the pits there in front of the two of them. It's not really what he would want, I think. And Gashamish also being close to William Meisman now. Flashing the headlights already. Justin Leber coming into the pits. So Meisman Mish will shuffle back up. And both past D'Amico. That was a bit tricky there on the inside. You could hear the revs from Gaspard's car rising up and then falling down as he started to slide. But yeah, Bilger not really defending. But Gaspard with that back up into 7th, gaining 1 position on his starting position as he started 8th. Carlo Rebello now on the rear end of Dave Siska. But the pace up front is crazy at this stage. 130.9, 130.7 for the two of them. Rebello showing himself on the inside, diving it down the inside. I think there was a slight contact made. Siska stays in front for now. Carabello definitely is the driver who's faster at the moment. But being fast is one thing. In the background you can also see Oliver Berndt. Again, showing himself a bit, but not really diving it down the inside as last time. But with a bit of a better exit this time, so maybe he can try something into turn 1. Oh, Dave Siska going a bit wide, having to catch the car, and now we caught a bit out on the outside. That was a very smooth move. That was sweet by the Portuguese. The gap in front just remaining as it is right now. Oh, near for yellow somewhere. Oh, Dave Siska lost control through the downhill. Seems like there was no contact made, according to my dashboard, but fortunate for him. And Rossi is in the pits. So that will allow Luca De Amico to come through. We're still hanging on to the group in front. Rossi is back out there driving. That's Sven Mackenberg coming out. Coming through, not out of the pits. Is Siska losing control once again? Because Luca De Amico's pace is right there, actually. I'm also curious to see, we still have more than half an hour in the race. Gash Pamish is 22 seconds behind Seb Rossi. If he can close in. Because I don't think Rossi did tires, I think he only did few. That would put them on pretty similar terms. Gap is fluctuating around 20 seconds. But a 1 second advantage would be a huge thing. If he could pull that off. Because I think on pace they are quite similar. Listen to that Porsche sound while we have it. Oh, little slide there. Gap is closing, but only slowly. Okay, now made a huge jump. Commentator's curse. Well, curse, I don't know. Actually pretty nice to watch. We crossed the half-hour mark. The gap between Rossi and Mish is staying as it is. So unless there's something huge happening, don't see them coming close to each other. However, I think Riccardo Bello could close in on Thorsten Leber for P9 towards the end of the race. Oh, and that moment Thorsten Leber spins out. Commentator's curse. There's Riccardo Rubello. There it comes. And goes by. That's P9 for him. That really was commentator's curse. But now it will be more and more interesting. Because now Marvin Magdenburg is in the range of actually getting a lot of understeer, probably from the dirty air. Which you have a lot of in Sonoma. Like, not only dirty air, but like corners where dirty air affects you. Just the air pollution in Sonoma actually that bad? I think so. Whatever. Down to 3/10 now. Can actually also hear that the tires are locking sometimes, even though the cars have ABS. Now it has gone a bit again. I don't think it's over once Marvin passes, to be honest. I think Marvin is currently waiting, just nursing his tires. Just going for one big move in the last lap, or maybe the last 2 laps, to have the ultimate advantage. Maybe we can take a listen to Robert, how he drives. He's also driving quite conservatively. He's not completely pushing, I feel like. Nice one. Finish actually has lost 1.5 seconds over the last few laps to Aussie. We are the whole grid basically doing 32s. Then we have San Mark 31.6 and Robert Wiesner and Martin Manberg doing 30.7 and 30.8. So those two are absolutely running away with it. But so far, both of them, we are racing for 1 hour and 40 minutes. None of them has done a single mistake. I think, not that I could recall any. It's, yeah, but I wouldn't call it a day yet. So, not that can happen. Doesn't seem like we will have traffic anytime soon, even though traffic isn't much of a thingy anyway. But I mean, Robert in Sonoma goes like, whatever goes smooth, I don't know. Like a 1000 degrees Celsius hot knife through butter, whatever. Oh, that was a trend back then. Whatever. I mean, he did win the WTCC eSport race. I think it was 2017 or 2018 was TCR, not TCC. So it has to be 2017 at this very track. I mean, he also told me he really liked it, so of course, he's giving it his best shot. Would be funny that if he on one lap just wouldn't pull to the right for the turn and just go straight into the pit. I don't think that will happen, but. Gap is coming down a lot now again though. I don't know, something makes me so happy about seeing this 991 driving. I mean, my favorite 911 will always be the 991.2. But the 991 is also very sexy. Switch from behind. Yeah, it's crazy. Like you You would think he doesn't feel the pressure, to be honest. Same goes for Sven, like they both are so smooth with everything, no matter how much pressure they have. I mean, that's what sets him apart from people like me, so. We are now running onto Dave Siska, indeed. Oh, and he makes way very generously. You don't have to completely pull off the track, but I mean, it's the battle for the lead. He probably doesn't want to block anyone. So, respect to him. Flags? Why the fuck do I have flags? Whatever. I also have those camps, but they are boring. Still have 14 minutes. But those two have remained like that for the last, what is it, 35 minutes? Since the pit stops, and even before that all the time. That's crazy that they've been like that, except for the small pit stop offset, for nearly 2 hours now. It's also great to see them being in so vastly different cars, to be honest. So. Oh, we have a yellow. Torsten Lever, oh, again. It's always the same kind. I'm surprised it's this one. Like, it's the Grand Prix connection. Because that's not the corner that makes problems for most people, but I can imagine it being very unsettling in the GT. It's very stable in itself, like very pleasant to drive. But in some certain situations when the track drops down and you suddenly have the compression and it grips again, then it can happen that it just goes. That I don't know because I do a Ford GT myself. It doesn't like fast corners as well. Can be very great on certain tracks, but sometimes you just can't get pace out of it. I think Watkins Glen could be the worst track for it, or stuff like Watkins Glen. More legs. I think further down the grid is pretty much settled. It's only for P1. Well, only for P1. It's well said. I mean, it's still P1, but... That's also true. Marvin, in theory, isn't the one under pressure, because Rob is, but... I mean, still you have quite a lot of pressure, I think. Okay, now. Oh, he's already launching it. He's just showing himself. He's not launching it. I was like, okay, he's getting close. He's showing that he's there, but wouldn't have expected him to actually already go for something that early. I mean, we still have 10 minutes. But seems like now it's showtime. Now it's of course all about not doing any mistake. One mistake and throw up. Marvin is passed. For Marvin, his chance at P1 might be gone. And out of this, they don't have to worry about any cars from behind. Sven Markenberg is around 20 seconds behind, so he probably won't be a threat for the win. But we also have a lapped car now, soon. TM. It's Berger in the P45. It's currently actually running in P8. Started P11. Hashtag and that sounds like a river. That's true. And they're getting closer and closer. Oh, bit of a dip into the gravel. Oh, it's not really grass, it's just dirt. There's like 4 weeks in a year where Sonoma can be absolutely green. But the rest is just like this. I mean, I kind of like it. It has its own flair, but... Oh, Dave Siska lost control. Oh, in the fast uphill again. Let's hope there's not too much damage sustained. We were just letting them pass. But was a bit of slipstream for Bob, which will definitely have helped him. He's super close. We have, after this one, still 4 laps left. If my math was right, so... My guess is either he will try it into the hairpin that's coming up now, in one of the last laps. I don't see him trying in the second hairpin, so in the last one. Because Rob has too much of an orthodox line which you can't really beat, because Porsche is just that good in the braking zone as well. He lost a bit again. But no matter what happens now, those two put up a colossal fight. Seen something? I haven't. No, I haven't. Oh, and Mark super close again, but not going for a move. It's also interesting that Rob always is short shifting before the acceleration zone. It doesn't lose him speed, but actually gains some traction. Yeah, I absolutely agree. We'll be going into the last lap. Oh, Rob sliding a bit. That's true. Short shifting is very good. But I feel like in most cars you just lose too much speed. Yes, and I don't see Marvin being able to pull a move into the last turn. Rob's just too good there with the car. I think Marvin is much faster in the first sector though. It's like he always gets super close there, but you can't get alongside. If you have a real pace advantage, yeah, you can, but if not, basically impossible. I also like how he uses the drop down to get more speed. Could be that the Porsche is a bit stronger. The 991 has 98% power, so it has less straight line. The McLaren also has 98%. Porsche has just more weight added to it. But we will now enter the final lap. He is 4/10 back, but now in the first sector he will get closer. Can Marvin Mackenberg overtake Robert Wiesenmüller in the final lap? They are bumper to bumper through sector 1. It's now or never for Marvin Mackenberg. Has a look down the inside, of course doesn't try it here. Is he close enough to send it down the inside? No, not quite. He's not close enough. But he's super close to Robert Wiesenmüller. Can he maybe still try it into the last corner? Here's the better drive. That would have to be an outstanding move. Robert Wiesenmüller defense to the inside. Marvin Mackenberg has to go right. Can he get the better exit? It seems like he can't. Robert Wiesenmüller to the final turn, across the line. Finished the race in second. Congratulations to Robert Wiesenmüller, winning the GT Legacy event at Sonoma. But what a performance it has been from him and from Marvin Mackenberg to fight it out like this. Crazy, just absolutely crazy. That was a close one. Congratulations to Sven Mackenberg for finishing on the podium. Just seen Thorsten Leber also finishing in P10. Now next up across the line. We also had Luca D'Amico finishing in 5th. Sebastian Rossi in 6th. I think next up across the line should be Riccardo Rebello. No, overrated, yeah. There we go. Bello got back up into P9. Oliver Berndt, very well executed race, P4 for him. And then we have Gaspar-Misch in P7. Vika Meismann is already finished. And there we have it. Robert Wiesenmüller. Sven Mackenberg also got the fastest lap in the end. Marvin Mackenberg in P2. What a race it has been between the two of you. and Marvin just confirming what I said during the race with the dirty air. So, wo diesen wir? Marvin Magmark, Sven Mankenberg, Oliver Berndt, Luca D'Amico, your top 5. Then you have Seb Rossi, Gaspar Misch, and Birger Meisman completing the top 8. Then Ricardo Rebello, Thorsten Leber, and David Siska, our last 3 finishers, so they will all get the vouchers for 250 of their P random draws. And then, unfortunately, DNF'd Team Writer, Christian Bertani, and Erika Dochwil. And yeah, what a race it has been. What a race. Like, sure, it wasn't the most action-packed KCG race we ever had, but that fight for the lead was unreal. It was a 2-hour dogfight, let's say. I think you were not even once separated by like 2.5 seconds in all that. Except, of course, for the pit stops. But apart from that, that was absolutely crazy. And I'm super happy with that event. As I already said in the KCG Discord, the next event is already set in stone, not in terms of the date, but at least we have a plan. And I wanted to show you what it will be. And for you, it's time to enjoy the trailer for the next event. See you in 2 minutes. Yeah, as you can see, it will be a lot of Porsche. And Colin is also recognizing that one screenshot, which was actually a small teaser. And the event I will plan for somewhat late January. Something about that, around there. But it will be early in 2024. But yeah, apart from that, I will share more info next week when I have it. Apart from with some other stuff. And with all that, I think it's time to wrap up this year of KCG. It was an honor to have you all on track. Yeah, I really enjoyed those events, let's say it like that. I still am very happy with the decision to do it like I do it now, with monthly 2-month intervals. I know some ask if it can't be more and stuff, but to be honest, I'm very happy with the rhythm I found now, because it always makes KCG something special for me. as well as for you, I hope as well. And we can continue that next year. Maybe I will increase the frequency a bit. We have at least, let's say, one a month, or just 1.5 months in between, and not 2. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Porsche, and I think it's very interesting. There's some BOP work to do, let's say. But apart from that, I think it could be a very nice event. It's very different. It allows for a lot of different cars. I will share the trailer on YouTube as well soon. And I wish you a great evening. Nice Christmas. I mean, we'll probably talk earlier about it anyway. But great Christmas, nice Christmas, whatever. Merry Christmas. And a Happy New Year. And we will see you next year when it's once again time for KCG.